This video is going to be about subsystems, how subsystems may work in some systems, and what it's going to look like for us. Hello. My name is Marion, Marion. I am the newest host in the IllumināDID system. We are a DID system that works to dispel stigma surrounding the disorder, educate regarding RAMCOA and TBMC trauma, and be a resource for information and support for families, survivors, and their care teams. I am the newest host. If you've been following our Twitter and our social medias in general, you've probably been made aware that everything has been just changing within the system, which is good and also confusing because we are functioning much better. Triggers are less triggery. They're still there, but the ability to cope with how they hit the brain is much higher. Whether that's because I'm the new host or because of the, I will hesitate to call it the shell altar that's currently being built, unsure, but generally speaking, things have become easier to cope with overall, and it seems as though the brain has hit this place of, I'm done being held back by my trauma, let's move forward. All of this to say, the brain did not, I am pretty sure the system brain just decided, okay, we can't do this anymore, let's figure this out. However, in the doing of figuring it out, meaning in creation of me, I suppose, it seems that we've been able to map out much of the system members who are fully fleshed out alters versus system members who are subsystem members of those alters, which is what this video is about. This video is going to be about subsystems, how subsystems may work in some systems, and what it's going to look like for us. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. Before we go into anything further, I just wanted to say it's an app that we used to create it, and then we create most of our medias for social media through this app because we are no good at Photoshop. It's just not something we are comfortable with. We used to use PaintShop Pro. All of that to say, we pay for the Pro version of it, but it is called Canva. This logo right there, we'll put it up on the screen for you so you can actually see what it's called. And it is a design software website. You can pay for the Pro version to use all of the assets that they have. The free version also has a good amount of assets, so being a paid subscriber is not at all required. There's no watermark issue being free, so I just pay for free because you have access to more resources that you can use inside of the design. But we used Canva to create the following chart, not sponsored by the way. We used Canva to create the following chart. That way it was easier for us to visualize it rather than just looking at spreadsheet data in a chart, which is what it initially started out as. We recorded the video explaining the map separately as a voiceover so that you can see the map in full screen instead of us having to try to film it and talk about it, fumbling around. It's just easier this way. So without further ado, I will yeet you over to system map version of me talking about that. It's pretty simple to kind of see who everybody is. Really simply, we'll start here at the primary system. Now, these are all of our primary people. These are what we would call, I guess, the non-programmed parts, the parts that have the ability to learn something beyond just the programming immediately, meaning their formation may have come from programming, may have come from trauma, but is not controlled entirely by the nature of programming, meaning they have the capability to free think. A lot of program parts, which I will get to here in a moment, are not capable of thinking beyond what their programming tells them to do. So these are the sort of free thinking, free-willed parts, alters, however you want to call the words, in our system that do things. I can break these rules down really quickly, just kind of simply for you. Caretakers are pretty simply put. They take care of people in the system. RMF is an advice kind of giver, sort of a wise dragon. He's a dragon. Our method is a dragon. Anyway, Calliope, our memory keeper, you've met her. She has a Meet the Altars video. Tristan is our gatekeeper. I do not know if he's made a video, but he probably will soon. The Night Protector, she helps us with our nightmares, night terrors, keeps us from too much of it. We have been able to lower our Prazosin dose due to her helping us out. Richter and Data work together. Data keeps the memories, Richter writes them down, Calliope files them. And all three of them work together to help us remember what's going on in the system and in life overall. Ezra handles a lot of our physical pain, a lot of if we're having a bad chronic pain day, Ezra will be out on those days. Phoenix is very internalized a lot, but she does speak a lot, and we can feel her presence and we can see her in the system. She's very powerful. She vibes. She has a lot of energy surrounding her to the point that you can see it. River is a social front. She comes out when we go out. She also likes gardening, so if we ever go to the gardening store, surefire positive trigger, guaranteed River will come out. We haven't met her. You haven't met her on the channel yet. The plan is there. Things have been happening. Gareth you have met. He is a protector and our rage holder now. I'm Marion. Hello. The warden, Sigma, she makes sure that the program parts don't yeet themselves to the front as often as they might like to. Valda had a video up previously on the channel. We deleted it because it felt out of place regarding where we were in the healing process. We had moved forward from where her thought process was stuck, and she had grown too, so we wanted to reflect that in her next video. Kirby is a small. She is the sweetheart of the system. Everyone adores her. Everyone wants her to be safe, and she also takes care of a lot of the adults emotionally just by being sweet and loving. Marcella, you haven't met on the channel. She is an interject originally of our mother, but since we've healed bonds with our mother, she is more just her own self, working on healing a lot of the wounds that were caused by bad mothering. Sin has her own way of doing things, and we are struggling with them still. And Zion also is their own. They do what they do when they do, you know? And now to touch on the other mains, these are the ones that come from RAMCOA. I won't go into the details around what they hold, hence trauma holder. We left it at trauma holder because we knew this part of the video was going to be public. I'm not going to go into details in this video regarding what they hold. The one for our therapist has these details. Now, you'll notice these Renee, Nimue, Leanne, Jessamine, the triplets, and Gemini were not listed in either the primary or the RAMCOA system. They are considered primary alters, but because they themselves have alters, because they themselves have alters, they are what we would call subsystems inside of a system, meaning a system within a system. Kind of like Inception, but I hate using movies because movies make things really super dramatic. Just imagine sort of imagine a Russian nesting doll, but multiple nesting dolls inside of one section of a nesting doll. That's how a subsystem would be. Renee's has these and these, and now this is kind of less. I'm not going to go into their roles because that's a little bit less important to the point of this video. What I wanted to show you was this. We reorganized them by their roles. A lot of our trauma holders come from our RAMCOA systems and our subsystems, but you'll notice that there's a lot of caretakers, there's a lot of hosts. We have a few that are kind of individualized out, and a lot of these you'll notice, if you pay attention to both, are also primary alters in the system, which means they are not subsystems, which is why they stand alone on their own 2 feet, I guess, in a way. This has been helpful in us realizing how to help each other heal, how to help support each other within the system. So if system mapping does nothing for you other than to point out who is there, great. But my hope for you is that if you map your system, you will be able to sort of see the relationships between all of the parts inside of you and all of your system parts so that they can kind of find others to relate to. Now, because of this map, we know that all of the caretakers can maybe get along with each other. Maybe they can talk to each other. Maybe we can recommend, hey, go talk to so-and-so or who and who when they need support from somebody, because we know that there's groupings that they will get along with more naturally than others. System mapping is super important, so definitely something you should do. I am losing my voice, so I'm going to send this over to past me, which is going to be future me in the video, to round this out and be done with it. Have a good day. All right, now that you've seen our system map, I hope that was kind of enlightening into how our system is built. It might help you, if you are currently working on mapping your system for therapy purposes, to use this software rather than just a spreadsheet, because we were initially using just a spreadsheet, and that wasn't helping us understand the relationships between alters and relationships between like how the system is built, because in understanding how your system is built, you can truly understand maybe where the trauma is coming from, what is sitting where you need to work on things first, etc. et al. So I'm following up the rambling of the explaining, hopefully not too badly rambling, to sort of touch on the fact that this map is helpful to us personally to kind of understand the relationships between each other and try to help each other heal and communicate. Mapping is part of system therapy. You are going to have to do it if you are going to heal. That is just the way it goes. You may not be able to do it off break. You may not be able to do it right away. And that is okay, because system mapping in itself is a form of building communication. Some of these names I have never spoken to personally, but I know they exist now because they are written down and there's some tangible source evidence that I can see, oh, these are the people in my head that I either need to get to know or need to be aware of or need to know how to talk to, because it's a lot easier to heal when you know you're talking to someone's alter than you're talking to another whole human being. And it's been insanely helpful to map systems. So this entire video has just been essentially us rambling about a system map, and we're going to close with you should create a system map for the purposes of healing and for the purposes of helping communicate with each other, because sometimes it's nice to just know who's where in the system. It's helpful, especially in therapy. So I hope that you found this video helpful and that maybe you can start your own system map in the future, because anything that moves you towards healing is something that's positive, in my opinion. Hope you have a good day. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, let us know how you feel about the video. Comments are always loved. We like to interact with you guys. We like to talk to you guys. We have a Patreon that we have had for a while, but we just really weren't active on it. We have a paid tier that is going to include some extra merchy type things, some art stuff, maybe personal Q&As, things that are a little more personal to us, because that doesn't feel like something we should publicly just access constantly, as well as things that will be available to the public. You do have to join Patreon and join our Patreon in order to view those posts. However, those posts will be under the free tier. So if you are a member of the Patreon at all, you will see a lot of the free posts. There is going to be a paid tier. That paid tier will be things that we feel we need to either guard a little closer to the chest, or things like our art and bonus videos, things like that. So keep an eye out for the Patreon, and follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow the YouTube. We're really bad at closings, I'm really bad at closings, but anyway, hope the video was helpful, enlightening, educational, or entertaining, and see you in the next one. Bye.